The Democratic presidential debates are tomorrow and Wednesday night. That's July 30th and July 31st. I couldn't find anything on YouTube that briefly provides a profile of each candidate, so what I'm going to do is provide a brief profile on each of the candidates, all 20. We'll start with night 1, July 30th. The next video will detail night 2. The first candidate is Marianne Williamson. She was born July 8, 1953. She's 67 years old and was born in Houston, Texas. She studied theater and philosophy at Pomona College in Claremont, California, before dropping out in 1972 to become a cabaret singer in 1973. She's a spiritual lecturer and guru to high-profile personnel, including Oprah Winfrey, and she started that in 1983. She continues to do that to this day, and is also an author that she began that career path in 1982. She is a charity organizer and fundraiser. She began in 1989 to the present, and she has 30 years public service. She is the founder of the Project Angel Food in 1989. She began that and also co-founded the Peace Alliance in 2004. She supports a universal health care proposal that's based on Medicare for All model. And then she is pushing policies such as support for the full path to citizenship, re-entering the climate accords, and a ban on all assault rifles and semi-automatic weapons. The next candidate is John Delaney. April 16, 1963 is when he was born. That makes him 56 years old, and his hometown is Woolridge, New Jersey. He has a bachelor's degree from Columbia University, of which he obtained in 1985, and then in 1988 he got a law degree from Georgetown University Law Center. He also has an honorary Doctor of Law degree from Washington College in Chestertown, Maryland, and he got that in 2015. He used to be an attorney for Shaw, Pittman, Potts, and Trowbridge from 1988 to 1990, and he co-owned and ran America Home Therapies in 1990 to 92. He also co-founded and served as the chairman, CEO, and president of Healthcare Financial Partners from 1993 to 97, and he co-founded and served as the CEO of Capital Source from 2000 to 2009, eventually taking over the executive chairman position of Capital Source from 2010 to 2012. He is was the U.S. representative for Maryland's 6th District from 2013 to 19, and he has about 6 years in public service. He's known for winning the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2004 for both his companies that were publicly traded on New York Stock Exchange, and he became the youngest CEO of a publicly traded company at that time. He pushed for the Protecting Veterans Credit Act, which got passed in 2018, and his policies include investing in infrastructure, national service plan, and raising the corporate tax to 27%. The next candidate is John Hickenlooper. He was born February 7, 1952. He's 67 years old as well, and he was born in Narberth, Pennsylvania. He has a Bachelor of Arts in English from Wesleyan University. He got that in 1974, and he has a master's degree in geology. He got that degree in 1980. He served first as a geologist for Buckhorn Petroleum until they switched ownership and he was laid off in 1986. But then he founded the first brew pub in Colorado called the Wine Coop Brewing Company. He began that in 1988 and served leadership until 2007. He was elected the vice chair of the Democratic Governors Association in 2012 and the mayor of Denver from 2003 to 2011. Also the Colorado governor from 2011 to 2019. He has about 8 years public service. And he's known for allowing legalization of marijuana for recreational purposes in Colorado as the first state to do so. He passed 3 pieces of Colorado gun legislation, including universal background checks and a limit on gun magazines. Initiatives that he pushed after the Aurora Theater shootings that happened under his watch. And policies he's going to be pushing in this debate probably will include tougher environmental regulations and education reform, including teacher licensure reform. Tim Ryan is another candidate. He was born July 16, 1973. He's 46 years old and was born in Niles, Ohio. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Bowling Green State University in 1995, and then in 2000 he got his law degree from Franklin Pierce Law Center in Concord, New Hampshire. He served as staff to Ohio Congressman Jim Trefink in 1995. Trefunk, maybe I'm not saying that right, but he was an Ohio State Senator from 2000 to 2002 and co-founded the House Manufacturing Caucus in 2003, becoming the chair in 2019. He has about 19 years public service, and he is the founding member of Medicare for All Caucus in the House of Representatives, and he ran unsuccessfully against Nancy Pelosi for House leadership in 2016. He is the co-sponsor of the Equality Act and a supporter of Safe School Improvement Act. He pushes for labor workers' rights, veteran affairs, economic growth, boosting the middle class, and education. That's Tim Ryan. Next candidate is Steve Bullock. He was born April 11th, 1996. He's 53 years old and from Missoula, Montana. He has a bachelor's in politics, philosophy, and education from Claremont McKenna College. He got those degrees in 1988, and later in 1994, he got a law degree from Columbia University Law School. He was the chief legal counsel to Montana Secretary of State Mike Cooney in 1996 and an executive assistant attorney general and chief deputy to Montana's Department of Justice under Attorney General Joe Mazurek in 1997 to 2001. He's an adjunct professor at George Washington University Law School in 2001 and was an attorney at Steptoe and Johnson from 2001 to 2004. He worked as a private attorney for about 4 years until 2008, when he became the Attorney General until 2013. He was also the governor of Montana, or is the governor of Montana. He began that in 2013. He has about 22 years of public service. As an Assistant Attorney General, he wrote the landmark Montana opinion that guaranteed public access to streams and rivers. He's also the chairman of the National Governors Association. He's passed executive orders requiring net neutrality, and he pushes for campaign finance regulations and conditional support for Syrian refugees. Amy Klobuchar, I hope I'm saying that right, Klobuchar was born May 25th, 1960. She's 59 years old and from Plymouth, Minnesota. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Yale University, a law degree from the University of Chicago Law School in 1985, and she was an intern for Vice President and former Minnesota Senator Walter Mondale in 1981. She was a corporate lawyer and partner at the firm Dorsey and Whitney and Gary Plant and Moody in 1985 until 97. She was the president of Minnesota County Attorneys Association in 2002 to 2003. And I might butcher this, but she was the county attorney for Hennepin County in 1998 until 2006. She was a U.S. Senator of Montana from 2006 until the present. She has about 38 years public service. She was the first U.S. Senator from Minnesota. And in 2016, Klobuchar sponsored and co-sponsored 27 bills that were signed into law, more than any other senator that year. She has some of those bills include the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act, Veterans to Paramedics Act, and a piece of legislation she introduced for automatic voter registration for Americans. She pushes for universal broadband, free trade, agriculture, healthcare, and regulating technology. Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke was born September 26, 1972. He's 46 years old, and he was born in El Paso, Texas. He has a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature from Columbia University in 1995. He co-founded the software and internet service company Stanton Street Technology Group from 1998 to 2017. He served as El Paso City Council member 2005 to 2011 and a representative for Texas 16th Congressional District from 2013 to 2019. He has about 14 years public service and is known for immigration reform in Texas and on the Mexican border, as well as unsuccessfully running against Ted Cruz for Senate in 2018. He supports Medicare for Americans and public option health care, veteran issues, foreign policy, criminal justice reform, and immigration reform. Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg was born January 19, 1982. He's 37 years old, a millennial, running from South Bend, Indiana. He has a bachelor's in history and literature from Harvard University, 2004. He's a Rhodes Scholar the same year, and a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Politics, and Economics from Pembroke College, Oxford. He served as a consultant at McKinsey & Company, 2007 to 2009. He was an intelligence officer for the U.S. Navy Reserve from 2009 to 2017, making him one of two candidates that were in the military. He is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and he has about 10 years public service. He knows, I believe, 7 languages, and he's running as the first openly gay presidential candidate. He supported DACA, reforms on gerrymandering, and abolishing the Electoral College. He also wants to eliminate the Electoral College, expand the Supreme Court to 15 seats, and public option for health insurance marketplace. The next candidate is Elizabeth Warren. She was born June 22nd, 1949. And she's about 70 years old, or she is 70 years old. She was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. She has a bachelor's of science in speech pathology and audiology from University of Houston, 1970, and then has a law degree from Rutgers Law School in Newark from 1976. She's a tenured law professor at Harvard Law School from 1993 to 2013, at which point she jumped into her elective offices as she was put into the advisor position for President Barack Obama on Consumer Financial Protections Bureau from 2010 to 2011. She got this position after she successfully predicted the financial crisis of 2008, 5 years prior. She was the chair of the Congressional Oversight Panel of Troubled Asset Relief, and she has about 11 years public service. She's known for her plan to forgive student loans, and she introduced a 2018 marijuana reform bill, a set of economic interventions to help U.S. workers, and the 2018 Anti-Corruption and Public Integrity Act. She is a woman with a plan, well thought out plans, and if you'd like to learn more about her, I encourage you to do your research. She pushes for worker control of corporations, public option for drugs, affordable housing, opioid epidemic, and PR debt, lobbyist bans, and Medicare for all. She is currently the senator from Massachusetts. Now, Bernie Sanders is our last candidate on night one. He was born in 1941, making him the oldest of the candidates, September 8th, and he was born in Brooklyn, New York City. He studied at Brooklyn College from 1959 to 1960. He has a bachelor's of arts in political science from the University of Chicago, 1964. He was a political activist in the 1960s and 70s. Working on campaigns, party caucuses, and committees. He's an electoral politician for the Liberty Union Party from 1971 to 77. He was a writer for nonprofit American People's Historical Society in 1997. And then he was elected the mayor of Burlington from 1981 to 89, and a U.S. House Representative from Vermont at-large district from 91 to 2007. He was a unit as senator of Vermont from 2012 to 2018, and he has about 51 years public service. He's a political activist for socialism, redistribution of wealth. He introduced and leads the charge on Medicare for all, and he is pushing for universal health care, redistribution of wealth, climate change, wealth inequality, criminal justice, campaign finance, and diplomatic foreign policy. That's night one. Those are the 10 candidates. And stick around for night 2. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. My name's Niall Piper. Until next time.